If you're hearing, we're done.
Hey, everybody. It is December 13th, 2019, the official SmackDown Go Home for tables, ladders, and chairs coming up this Sunday on the WWE Network. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Matt Morgan and Michael Wiseman, here tonight to talk about this. Oh, tonight, the drama, the suspense. We got The Fiend invading the Miz's home. We had dog food in play. Who was going to end up eating the dog food? So much happened tonight. Hams were slapped out of hands. Matt,
the Fiend stuff was great. That was
fantastic.
Great.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely fantastic. Saved the show in that the Fiend stuff was quality television tonight. Mm-hmm. I would have watched that. And let me just tell you, on Friday, The Mandalorian drops on Disney Plus, and the Fiend stuff, I would have delayed watching The Mandalorian.
Wait, real quick. What's Mandalorian? What is it?
It's remember Boba Fett in Star Wars? It's a guy that's got have you watched this on Disney Plus yet?
No. Is this a cartoon?
No, it's live action and it's incredible. It looks like a Star Wars movie. It's a TV show about a guy who's a Mandalorian, so he's got the same armor. He's a bounty hunter, and it's incredible. Worth getting Disney Plus for just to watch this.
So it's like real life. Like somebody, like an actor is playing this?
Yes, it's live action.
It's not real life, Matt. It is fantasy, we should tell you. None of this is real. But.
It takes place after Return of the Jedi, so after the fall of the Empire.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't want to spoil it for you. It's kind of like a Western in some ways. It's really good.
All right, so I take a side
trip
here, but I'm glad I asked that now.
But my point is, on Fridays, The Mandalorian drops. The Fiend stuff tonight, I'm glad I watched that. That was quality TV. The segment with the Miz, all of that was fantastic.
It really, really was.
Well, and they took a thing where the Miz, you're like, why is he involved in all of this?
Yeah.
And they gave him a reason for being involved. They built on previous WWE history, which they never do. They use old clip of talking smack, and they made the Miz feel sympathetic, and that's a really strong, that gives him a motivation for fighting on Sunday. So
that's a hard thing to get, is sympathy for Miz. The only time it ever felt sympathy for him was in real life when he was going through his Tough Enough heat and having to change out in the hallway. I was there when he first, he was getting a dark match at the time and he wasn't even allowed to change in our locker room. This was pre his heat with JBL and others. And even back then, I felt terrible for him.
It takes a certain kind of wrestler, I think, to pull off a segment like this, because you could put a lot of guys in this spot and it could become almost corny, right? The family involvement could be cheesy. It sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. But the Miz is talented enough that I think he was the right guy for something like a home invasion from Bray Wyatt.
Quick question to you guys, though. Let me ask you another question. And fans in the chat room as well. Even though that was great and that happened, I kept asking myself this question: do fans? Because the thesis is supposed to be, well, we can surely feel what Miz must be feeling. No one messes with our family. This is what I would do if this happened to me, and this is how I would feel. That's what the emotion they're trying to draw out of us is. But I kept going back to, Miz doesn't strike me as the guy that is going to punch somebody in the face no matter who's messing with his family. I know it's a horrible thing to think, horrible thing to even say. Wow. But he doesn't strike me as Johnny husband who's going to be like, you mess with my family, you mess with me, like any one of us. Because he's so into himself and so arrogant.
But don't you think that this is one of those baseline emotions? We talked about this last week.
You're supposed to.
Well, when you look at some of my favorite movies, which, loosely dubbed the From Hell genre, like The Cop from Hell, Ray Liotta and Unlawful Entries, stalking Kurt Russell and his wife, De Niro and Cape Fear, which
all
Bray Wyatt
great jobs. We all could relate with those normal people that were being affected by it, right? Yeah. I mean, didn't you? I don't know.
I think where it loses me, though, is that I think you're right, Matt. The thing that is on the edge, and again, I think this was really good. So let's pick nits, but let's do it, right?
Yes.
And I think the thing about it is the Miz is in this fancy home. He's wearing a suit. He's rich. He's a TV star. He has a reality show, and there is just a little bit of disconnect, right? You heard CM Punk talk about this on WWE Backstage this week, the reality factor. Fans want that reality factor. And if it was in my house, it would not look that nice. There would not be lights everywhere. No. It would not be that beautiful. My baby would not look that cute, right? So I think that does take me out of it a little bit, right?
My baby.
The Miz's baby is better looking than your baby.
His baby is beautiful. I mean, oh my God. Yeah. But yeah, I get it. I agree.
Do you have kids, Mike?
I do not yet.
No, okay. I was gonna say,
Yeah,
what
but if
the
you
hell?
did-
Your wife's gonna kill you after thinking that. I was gonna say.
If I had a kid, obviously my kid would be 10 times more beautiful than their kid, right?
No, total uggos compared to the Miz's kids. I mean, come on, let's be real.
Keep it real. Whatever, you know.
I mean, we'll talk about the segment in depth. I think my issue with tonight was just about everything else on the show, and it wasn't that it was even bad. It just, man, at a certain point, it starts to feel like a rerun. I mean, Corbin and Ziggler together. I don't know how long this has been going on. I know Bobby Roode has a wellness policy suspension
What?
for 30 days. Yeah, that broke earlier this week.
For what? Do we know what?
I don't think
Bobby
they
Roode
specified
is
it.
straighter than an arrow when it comes to being just super by the book.
Yeah, but in
I'm
fairness, sometimes it could just be your prescription's out of date. I mean, they can
I
pop you
have
for.
heard back when I was thinking about coming back, like
Yeah.
when I was going to come back, Royal Rumble 2014, GNC stuff, like stuff you can go to the like vitamin shop and get.
Yeah.
I was told even then, like, don't take any of that stuff. You can't even risk that. I was told.
Yeah.
Like EAAs. I was with one of these nutritional companies. And they're like, don't even jeopardize it. Don't take anything. Get off of all that, EAAs, BCAAs, and you get over the counter. It's like, really? It's branched chain amino acids. There's nothing great. Like, what the hell? Rudy 2. Like, what am I getting out of that other than? And like, no, it's that stringent.
But it's so weird though. You could drink all the alcohol you want, but if you smoke marijuana, you get a fine.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't even think of marijuana. Yeah. That's so outdated. That is incredibly outdated.
Well, and there's guys, you always question this policy since we're on. They got 30-day suspensions for nobody who doesn't know. It was Bobby Roode and Primo Cologne. So first time offenses for both these guys. But you look at this and I mean.
Bobby doesn't smoke marijuana.
Well, and guys like Brock Lesnar, like, are these guys on? I mean, they're not being drug tested. They're not in there every week, right? So.
Yeah.
It's so selective. It's so stupid. I feel like they do this once a year just to make an example of someone.
They used to do it even worse a few years back, or more, a little bit more.
Yeah. There was I think a Meltzer rumor. He didn't name names, but he said some guys might be trying to pop test results to get released.
That's pretty smart. Actually.
3 times. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I prescribe myself, my own ADHD, whatever. I mean,
let me out of my contract. Let me go to AEW.
Could you imagine? Is that really what WWE's coming to?
I mean, that just sounds like a Seinfeld plot at a certain point, right?
Well, it takes time too, because that first wellness violation is a 30-day suspension, but you'd come back and I guess get tested, and it's like a 90-day suspension. So
I say
it'll take you 6 months to go through this.
Ooh.
Plus the drug addiction. So
if you got years, this is an accelerated plan. Go back to the Indies.
It's like prison if you've got years.
What about medical marijuana? Well, you have a prescription for it. You still?
I don't know. I haven't. Well, so with marijuana,
they should look into that though, Glenn, because that's the thing. Like, I'll be very honest. If that was introduced to me, I don't like pot personally. Like, I don't like recreational. This is not my thing. But had it been introduced to me before painkillers were, back when I had my very first back injury, who knows? Who knows what that could have done as far as bridging that gap so I can perform and still recover and get better health-wise and deal with the pain versus having to turn to Norcos, painkillers. Do you know what I mean? And become addicted for 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think that WWE has had a really weird history with addiction, with performance-enhancing drugs. There's not a lot of rhyme or reason to it. It seems like it's almost this arbitrary set of rules that certain things are against it, other things aren't, I'm
surprised, though, with them. They're pretty... I know we give them a lot of grief, but like they are on the... I'll give them credit. They're usually somewhat on the cutting edge, if you will, so to speak, on a lot of things, whether it's social things that go on. Saying Saudi Arabia, obviously, they could not be any more tone deaf when it comes to that. But other than that, like as far as the drug policy goes, dude, it's incredibly stringent. But then just in general, with, like I said, medical marijuana, like we've come so far, I'm shocked to hear that they haven't reassessed their policy with that. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's only going to help their guys and gals recover. And as long as it's medically needed,
Yeah.
everything with the company feels like a knee-jerk reaction sometimes. And I think having a drug testing policy is the right call. Don't get me wrong. Yes. But it feels like this was a reaction to what happened in the 2000s with Benoit. And the steroids is still a reaction to the 90s. Like all of this just feels reactionary and to your point, not hip and modern with what it is today in culture.
I mean, yeah.
There's a difference between someone that's smoking pot and smoking PCP.
And alcohol. I mean, you brought this up, Glenn. And here's the thing people don't think about, right? CBD oil. CBD oil is super popular right now in America. Mm-hmm. CBD oil is not regulated. And so you could take something that you think would not pop for THC, and yet it does.
Real CBD should have like 0.0001% THC in it, actually, even though they say no, CBD oil doesn't have THC. Well, the good kind is that works and is effective. Is supposed to have a very, very tiny, minute amount in it.
I mean, the good kind has THC in it. Let's just clear.
Seriously, though, that's what I was told. Because we use CBD oil for my son Jackson. He's non-verbal autistic for his attention, and it works amazing. Sure. We get him drops of that in the morning and at nighttime before bed, and we've seen huge results from it. I use it for my pain. So does my wife, and anxiety for her as well.
No, I think whatever works. I mean, there's got to be new treatments, Matt. I know we've talked about addiction and chemical dependency before, but with ADHD, I mean, for the better part of 40 years, the answer to ADHD was, hey, we're going to give you a chemical dependency to pharmaceutical speed.
Ritalin for me, that's the only option that they had in the 80s. They've come a little bit further, but it's still overboard when it comes to the pharmaceutical version versus CBD is a great one.
Yeah.
Attention.
No, absolutely. But at the same time, hey, as long as Wahang extract is off the market, I guess everybody's safe. Oh, man, I miss that. Remember Hydroxycut 20 years ago, Matt? Oh,
it was the best. The best, most effective fat burner I've ever taken.
So, and then what they have on WWE in the 90s, they were like Stacker. Was it Stacker?
Yeah, Stacker.
Yeah, Stacker.
Yeah.
Oh, how far we've come. Okay, this seems apropos. I'm gonna do it right now. Speaking of prescription, speaking of science, I have to thank the sponsor of this episode, which is you know it, you love it, and I think it's the season to give thanks. And we have to give a big thank you to Blue Chew, BlueChew.com, the sponsor of this episode. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. So this is it's herbal. This is, ancient medicine. No, this is science, good old-fashioned American science, men and women in lab coats. Went to school, took out student loans, put themselves through college, through advanced degrees to go to labs every day and research this. And why did they do it? Because every guy remembers what it was like. And you know the time I'm talking about, right around the time college started, when you were just at that peak. And now you're older, and the peak is in the past. But with Blue Chew, you can get that back. You can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed with BlueChew.com. And because they're chewable, you can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach, and they work up to twice as fast as a pill. So you can be ready whenever that opportunity arises. So if you think about it, Viagra and Cialis, that's old school. What is this, your grandfather's boner meds? No. Blue Chew is chewable. It's faster. It gets in the bloodstream quicker. And it just makes it so you don't have to schedule ahead and think, hey, babe, in 2 or 3 hours, you think you're going to be ready? No, you turn down the lights. You put on some Sade. You put on maybe some Enigma, right? Lower the lights down. Take the Blue Chew and be like, hey, baby, what's up? Let's talk. And then boom, you make your move. Next thing you know, 15, 20 minutes later, it is go time, baby. Now, Blue Chew is prescribed online by licensed physicians, so you don't have to go to the doctor's office. You don't have to wait in line in the pharmacy, and it ships straight to your door in a discreet package. If you could benefit from more confidence where it counts, Blue Chew is the fast and easy way to enhance your performance. Go to the website, check it out. They are made in the USA, and since they prepare and ship direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. And best of all, there's no more awkwardness. No more, hey doc, I got the flu shot, but let me talk to you a little bit about my performance issues in the bedroom. No. Blue Chew makes it simple. We have a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com. Get your first shipment free when you use our special promo code WINC. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BLUEChew.com, promo code WINC to try it free. They're going to send you this pouch. This pouch in it is going to have a lot of Blue Chews. You're going to get like 4 or 5 of these bad boys. And I'm telling you, with the holidays around the corner, block off some time. Call the wife, the girlfriend, or the other special lady or man in your life. We don't judge. And just say, hey, I got a little Christmas treat, a little Christmas bonus, as it were. BlueChew.com, promo code WINC to try it free. Blue Chew, the better, cheaper, faster choice. And we thank them for sponsoring this, the Wrestling Inc. podcast. and making all of wrestling podcasting possible. Blue Chew, huge supporters of the genre. Absolutely fantastic. Love that we're going to work with them in 2020. Now, to SmackDown, Dolph and Baron Corbin. No Bobby Roode. Corbin recaps the time he's had, defeating Kurt Angle, winning King of the Ring, taking the big dog down, making him bow down to the king. And at TLC, he's going to put Roman Reigns in his place, and SmackDown will be his to rule as the leader. Matt, how do you think the Baron Corbin push is going with him at the forefront of SmackDown?
I think it's going very well. No? I think he does a great job generating heat. He's feeling it, you can tell. You got to give him props, I think.
Yeah. Michael, do you feel like the material is perhaps getting a little old?
Yeah, I mean, we're hitting the same notes here with the dog food thing and all, it smells bad out here or whatever else. And again, we talked about this a lot in the show. Baron Corbin can go out there and do his thing and he can sell it. The material has been weak, but I think, I would say last week, the dog food segment, you heard CM Punk talk about it on WWE Backstage. It works because a heel should be gross. He should be doing disgusting things. And yeah, it's cheesy. It's corny. It's not as bad as when he had the fast food mascot come out, the big dog and all that stuff. So I think it has up since then because he's focused more on saying, I'm better than Roman Reigns. He makes the cheesy jokes, but he's focused more on trying to prove himself inside that squared circle.
And Glenn, one other thing is that WWE, when they have anything that's even remotely, and TNA used to do this too when I was there, anything that's even remotely talked about or remotely over, even for like 5 seconds, they immediately do it all over again. And they keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And it's that what you're feeling, that deja vu feeling you're having a little bit. Yeah. A lot of wrestling companies do it. It's annoying as hell.
I feel like if you got him with the right writer, he could be the best heel going right now.
That part was lazy. I'll admit that. It's just, well, this worked last week. We're going to do it again. Vince thought it was so funny. Yeah. Just the weirdest reasons as to why they write what they write versus this worked. So let's up the ante the next week.
Yeah.
That's what it should be.
The repeat is old, and seeing Baron Corbin come out, it's very formulaic, and that's the part that gets old. I do like Corbin better with a guy like Ziggler at his side, kind of that guy who's his hype man almost, who's out there laughing at his joke, because it makes you hate them more. And Ziggler was wearing this weird like Unabomber outfit tonight in the ring, right? And I thought that it made you hate them more. So that piece worked, but yeah, it's stale. It's repeating the same thing over and over.
Yeah, Ali Love 11G in the chat saying she can't stand the fact that so much talent's not utilized. Same old stories with same old crap. They should keep us wanting to watch wrestling. I think that's the risk of it. And I feel that when Dolph is out there especially, there's just something about that, right? I mean, Matt, what do you think Dolph's track record is? I feel like it's a coin toss almost, whether he makes the segment better or
it is a coin toss. It shouldn't be because he's a very effective promo. He looks like $1 million. He wrestles like $1 million. It's just what they've done to him. This is 100% their fault.
Yeah. So Kofi and Big E came out. One thing I liked about this is the first time they've addressed Kofi's loss. It had Kofi respond when they said that, he lost to Brock Lesnar in 7 seconds. Kofi corrected him and said, no, it was 8 seconds, but I'm still a champion.
Yes, it's the first time as far as any kind of like effective talking about it, right? Yeah. To a degree. But I want to say he had like a millisecond where they glossed over it really quickly.
Like a backstage interview or something, maybe?
Something weird like that.
Yeah.
But essentially, no.
Yeah. I mean, it was okay. I think this was the danger with keeping. I mean, we knew Roman Reigns was going to show up tonight at some point. I think saving him till the very end.
It made him look kind of like a tool, right? Like where was he? He was taking out security at the top of the night, and he waits until the last 4 minutes to come out. It was an effective moment when he came out, but logically, you're like, were you just waiting all night for this? Like the opportune moment to look as badass as possible?
But did he though? I think he should have come out. This should have been like Angle with the milk truck or Stone Cold with the beer truck. Roman should have got epic revenge tonight.
Like spraying dog food?
Yes.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yes.
Yeah, or kibble. Like it should have rained kibble down or something. I don't know. Just something.
Yeah, those are both actually really good.
Rained kibble because it's Roman Reigns.
But no, I think it just I don't know. I would have liked a little more there. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. We saw the recap last week of Alexa having her eyelashes ripped off, which again, I mean, not her real eyelashes, the fake eyelashes, but still, it did not look pleasant.
Hurt.
Yeah,
those are glued on. Like those girls, they get them soldered on. Damn near. My wife gets them done. Dude, my wife goes, that would kill, man. I go, really? Those aren't real? She goes, no. Those are damn near sewn on, soldered on. Yeah, they hurt, man.
I went to DeVry to learn how to solder. I solder on Alexa Bliss's eyelashes.
DeVry.
Yeah.
Not University of Phoenix. Online. Did you hear Kevin Nash say that once that he went to University of Phoenix?
Really?
On a full athletic scholarship.
It's never too late, guys. It's never too late.
Talking about the online version. It was so fun. He said it in a pro. Anyways, it's just what is going on? What did we give like Mandy Rose the kiss of death by putting her over too much that she's like the future of that division like a year and a half ago or whenever it was? What the hell am I missing with both of those two?
They could be good. They could have a really good story. I know they pitched. Well, they pitched that angle, right? I mean, Sonya on Total Divas, apparently Sonya pitched an angle for like a lesbian storyline involving her and Mandy. And it seemed like they were going there. Remember like when EC3 and Mandy was kind of into EC3 and Sonya was like, hey, back off, buddy. Like it actually seemed like they could do something there. I think they've kept them as a team, but they never
do it. This is a progressive company normally. Am I the only one that thinks that? Like normally?
For the most part. Well, when it comes to their programming, it does seem weird though that we haven't really had that. Well, except for the one with Billy Gunn. Maybe that's why.
Billy and Chuck. Oh my God, that was really ahead of his time at the time, right?
I don't think,
as far as wrestling goes.
I think it's the sort of thing like Goldust. Like now we look back at Goldust and we're like, oh man, what a progressive character. But at the time, people were chanting the F word at him, and it was not at the time progressive at all.
They were, man, yeah.
But in hindsight, it looks progressive.
Yes.
Like they were pushing gender boundaries. And
good point.
So I don't know. Alexa and Nikki won this. I don't know where this feud's going. I don't know what's happening. Let's talk about Sami Zayn. Backstage, Heavy Machinery was there. Otis picked Sami in the Secret Santa and tried to give him a ham. Sami's vegan, knocked it out of his hands. Cesaro and Nakamura came up, setting up a match for later in the evening.
This is horrible, but this is horrible, but I'm going to say this, but like Cesaro brings down Nakamura a little bit. Like, and
think so?
Sami. I know that's a horrible thing to say because we all love Cesaro. We think he's good. I just don't. He's another one like Dolph, where I think his time has come and gone as far as us ever really being able to ever put stock into like this guy can be a main event talent like we used to. And he's done nothing wrong. It's not his fault. Again, this really isn't his fault. It's not me trying to get out of saying something negative about him either. It's the truth. Just like Dolph, actually, in that regard. This is where bad writing and not consistent booking hurts what could be a main event talent.
Yeah.
And he's, in my opinion, I like Nakamura with Sami. I thought it was fresh. I thought it was something different. It made Nakamura feel more important. Sami's funny as hell and great at getting heat. You want to punch him in the face all the time because he's such a jerk on the mic. I think it was great. I don't like Cesaro with it, though.
I feel like they don't know what they want to do with Cesaro right now.
This is the definition of getting some on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But oh, I'm sorry, Michael.
No, I think you're right. And it's that constant push-pull WWE does where I think they take a guy and they put him out there for a little bit and they pull him back and they put him out there and they pull him back. And I think they feel like they can make anybody a star anytime, but they don't realize that the fans do have memories, and a guy like Cesaro who is treated kind of subpar for long enough, or as a tag team partner, it does have long-term consequences.
I feel like wrestling in capri pants. That's still too fresh in my mind.
That has long-term consequences too. I mean, I'm just
it's just something about that look. I'll never get it out of my head.
Yeah.
Shorty G and Mustafa Ali versus the Revival. Why won't they call them Shorty G and Ali? It rolls off the tongue so well. This match against the Revival, I was actually surprised the Revival got the win here. I thought this was a really good match though overall.
Me too, but this was an incredible match. I actually really like this match a lot.
And they're a good tag team. Shorty G and Mustafa Ali work really well together.
But to be fair, any tag team, even two singles acts tagging together for the first time versus the Revival is going to be a good tag team match. They're that damn good, dude.
Well, it seems like they're positioning. They got the win here because the Revival's going to go up against New Day for the tag team championships again, right? We're getting another match here.
Good. I think I'll take it.
But I think the money match for me, I think Revival's going to lose again, unfortunately. But I do think we're going to see Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura versus a New Day. And I think if that feud is handled right, that could be an amazing tag team feud.
Killer Styles talking about how great it is, how Shatter Machine, how commentary puts it over. I'm trying to think, like, in terms of finishers, tag team finishers, that's the one, right? I mean, more so than the Viking experience, certainly more than the Magic Killer as of late. I feel like Shatter Machine with the Revival, all of it's there. I just don't understand why they're sort of kept at the mid-level at this point when they're arguably the best tag team
in the world.
Yeah.
Young Bucks, and then Lucha Brothers.
Could you imagine the Revival goes to AEW?
AEW books the tag team guys the right way. Finally, Lucha Brothers and Young Bucks are on top. Not because they're in company and SEU. No offense to them, but no, for real, those are my friends. I don't mean to crap on them like that, but just. Dude, you have the two of the three best tag teams in the world in your division. They should not be towards the bottom of that tag division.
Kenny Omega should not have lost a dozen times this year either.
For singles, yes.
Right. But it seems like they're trying to make it look like, hey, guys, we're not putting our VPs over, right? Our VPs are not going to be on top, we promise. So. And
I said in one of our podcasts, I was like, guys, stop. Now's the time. Yes, we need you to do this. We need you to win.
Yeah.
I don't care what your title is. You guys are that damn important to the company, you know?
And they got some good screen time tonight, but this match was great. If you watch anything tonight, I would say watch this match. Watch the stuff with the Miz and the Fiend that we'll talk about. And I have to say, I actually we'll talk about what happened before. I thought Dana Brooke versus Bayley was pretty solid.
Of course you did. You love Dana Brooke. That's why she gets you no wrong. Her and what's the other girl you really like? That's just so random.
Rhea Ripley.
You like her.
Alicia Fox.
Yes, Alicia Fox. That's it.
Wait, you like Alicia Fox?
Yes.
Best Northern Light suplex in the business.
Dude, she won't be on TV for like 3 straight years, right? And she'll have a match on like freaking Velocity. And Glenn.
Shotgun Saturday Night, Alicia Fox comes out, right?
Sunday Night Heat. And Glenn like, did you guys see it?
Oh my
She's
God.
really good. She's a very good wrestler, very athletic. She's been with the company a long time. No, look, with Dana, I've always thought that flip that she does, that walking somersault, is just
who?
Dana Brooke, when she does the summer.
She's a stud ass athlete. Let's be clear. She is a pro's pro. She's a former Arnold winner.
And I think her personal story was very endearing. Just the stuff she's dealt with, her boyfriend, or fiance that passed away a year and a half ago.
Dallas McCarver, right?
Yeah. So she's been through a lot. And I feel like she was someone that seemed like they were starting to push her a little bit. She got called to the main roster too soon. I want nothing but the best for her. I think in Titus Worldwide, she was great. I think she was great with Charlotte. And I think she's still finding her way. It's both good and sort of bad that the Batista thing is like the thing that gets her over with the company, right? I mean, Matt, could you imagine if you put this grind in, but then all of a sudden, if, at the time, I'm trying to think, like, if Alundra Blaze had been flirting with you on social media, they're like, oh, now we're going to push Matt Morgan,
yeah,
just seems strange.
Really? So the fact I was 7 feet tall, 300 pounds, drug free, come here early, leave late, has nothing to do with it.
Nope. It's all who you're making eyes.
So yeah, that she's got to be asking herself that, right? Everybody should be. If you get, you know what I mean? You start to get because of that. Or maybe you're smarter than I am and shut your mouth instead of like me, like complaining about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Saying just shut your mouth, Matt, just take it and then make something of it. Shut up.
Yeah.
So it does seem like Dana Brooke is like, this whole Batista thing has really paid off for her, right? Like she has been kind of getting that mainstream attention. Batista's going into the Hall of Fame. They got that flirting going back. They're going to do a date or whatever. And like Dana Brooke's getting a little bit of a rub from that connection there.
Literally, perhaps.
Yeah.
Although it was weird, like day one, that was so wholesome, they're flirting, and then day two, it was like, oh, this is not wholesome anymore.
Let me see them squats.
Like day one was like, it was cute, it was, they got a little too graphic for my taste, a little too fast, a little too publicly with their back and forth. Anyhow.
This was all around, I think, like Bayley came out and did her thing. Like it was a legit decent promo, right? It wasn't bad to set up this match. It was fine.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's talk about this. Sasha Banks is off recording a rap album.
I missed that apparently. What?
Bailey announced
tweeted it. Sasha tweeted confirmation of this.
Yeah.
And here, let me find the tweet.
Uh-oh. I saw this. Matt, you might want to cover your ears.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Share screen. There. Tab.
We're not really going to listen to this. Come on.
It's not. We're not listening to anything.
Legit blueprint coming 2020. About her rap album.
Jesus Christmas. So now she's not just stealing my gimmick. She's stealing the blueprint Jay-Z's name of his album, too.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And Architects Everywhere. Let's not forget the
Architects Everywhere.
Mike Brady had blueprints, and he lost them when they went to Six Flags Magic Mountain that time.
It wasn't Six Flags Magic Mountain.
That's where they shot it.
Oh, I stand corrected. Good job, Glenn.
Well, I mean, where else would you shoot it if you're in Southern California, where the Brady Bunch was shot?
But where did they say in the actual?
Oh, I was like Funland. It was some. If they even said it at all. But yeah, it was just random amusement park.
Where Vincent Price was in a cage.
In Hawaii.
Yeah.
With the tarantula?
Yeah.
That was like a 3-parter. And as a kid, I was like, this is a 3-part episode?
I was scared by that episode.
The Grand Canyon one was always the one where they take the mules down. I just thought that looks so boring. Who would want to go down to the bottom of Grand Canyon on a mule? Anyhow, the Brady Bunch, folks, Google it.
They get also that ghost town, right? That whole ghost town, and like there's nobody there. Yes. It was like a multi-parter.
Yes. In some ways, Michael, you're the cousin Oliver of this podcast.
Is it gonna insult me if I tell you I don't know who Cousin Oliver is? He from the Brady Bunch?
Don't Google it. It's
you're aging us, but no.
Cousin Oliver.
It's a compliment. No.
Okay, sure. Okay. I'll take
it. Bailey backstage. Elias is there with Dana Brooke. Elias is singing a song. There was something about that Bailey wanted a threesome with Elias and Sasha, and Elias is like, "Nah, I'm good, bro." And then her haircut makes her look like a dude, and then wished her a Merry Christmas. Bailey looked like she was going to laugh about 3 times during this segment. Yeah. This was pre-taped, right? This wasn't live. They pre-tape these things during the day, don't they, Matt? Like,
yes.
Surprised they didn't redo it. But this led to Dana Brooke versus Bailey, which relatively short, but man, it's strange how little women's in-ring action we're getting as of late. It's like, okay, here you go. Here's your match.
That was real quick too. It was like under 5.
Yeah. Bailey won. Who's Bailey wrestling? Is Bailey wrestling on Table TLC?
I don't know. I don't think they've announced a match for her officially, but she's up. I mean, Lacey Evans would be the logical opponent here, right?
Yeah. There's 7 matches announced for TLC. We'll run those down at the end of the show.
Can we talk about how underused though Elias has been though? I mean, I get it. They're using him for these comedy segments, but put him out there. Like, people respond to him. Let him wrestle.
Or keep him off and then bring him back with something good. Not this.
Yes. Yeah.
Then we had the Miz and Bray Wyatt. We had a little teaser vignette for Sheamus, but let's wait and revisit that when he actually shows up. Yeah. New hair. That's the key on this. So the Miz sitting down with Renee Young at home at the Miz's home in Los Angeles. We cut to the baby monitor. We see his daughter in the crib and everything's fine. We talk a little bit about the Miz and Daniel Bryan. They show clips from Talking Smack, the great segment they had back in 2016. When we hear Maurice yelling. We cut back to the baby monitor on the iPad. We see a Firefly Funhouse Bray show up in there. Then when we cut back to the baby monitor view, we see the Sister Abigail and some of the other like Huskus. We see those stuffed animals in the crib with his daughter, and then when they go in there, they see a blonde doll with her face painted like the Fiend. So Maurice is freaking out, the Miz is freaking out. We cut back, and then we get Bray on the screen with a new episode of the Firefly Funhouse. He has the doll with him. Talks about he's trying to be nice. It's the holiday season. Just says that no one likes snitches. The Miz is wrapped up in what's happening to Daniel Bryan, so he exposed himself in this to Bray, and that's why he's getting involved. He thinks Bryan is still with him, but the Miz is with Wyatt. He goes on, says going to teach the Miz how not to love. He just has to let him in. And then he comments how good the Marine 5 was. Not the Marine 6, the most recent one, but the Marine 5 with his brother, Bo Dallas. And says that Bray will see the Miz at TLC on Sunday.
All good stuff.
Yeah. This was great.
Loved it.
I like how they put Renee out there. She's legit. I mean, doing Backstage, I think, gives her even more credibility as a journalist because she's not a commentator every week, and she does great on commentary. But bringing her over and the questions she asked set up that segment perfectly because that helped it feel real in a way a lot of these things don't often feel.
She's an immediate injection of like ESPN type of reporter. Yep. I've always felt that about her. When they put her in commentary, even though she's good at it, I was like, man, even though she's good, there's better use with her because she had so much legitimacy. Because she's a real, broadcast journalist. She came from, what do you call it? Come on, what's the ESPN in Canada? TSN.
Oh, that's right. She did. I forgot about that.
So good on that. Yep. She's very, very talented.
This was great. I mean, and that's the thing. I love those style of movies. I love those from hell, stalker movies. I think the way they're doing with this angle, this is a nice sidetrack with Bray and The Fiend. And that's the number one mistake they've made with every single thing they've done with Bray Wyatt in the past. They just latch onto one thing and then just repeat it until it becomes a parody of itself. And they need to keep doing stuff like this to keep it fresh. I'm so glad they're doing it.
Yeah. And they're still using the Firefly Funhouse in a smart way. He comes out, he kind of surmises the whole segment, and it worked effectively. Somebody, DMP Games in the chat room said, "Are we going to ignore how good of an actress Monroe was?" Baby can cry. Baby can cry.
Yeah. This was great. Watch this from tonight. Then we had Heavy Machinery versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro with Sami Zayn with them. Now, here we are in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. Wisconsin is where Otis is from. So the hometown crowd, chanting for him, everybody wanting him tonight. And after this pretty entertaining match, Cesaro and Shinsuke picked up a win.
Yeah, I thought for sure Cesaro was taking the L.
Yeah. What is it? I mean, Matt, it's become this thing
hometown,
of hometown,
and doing the job in your hometown. I don't know. They're not the same company that they were when I was there. They're very different today. So I don't know if that's still a thing or not. Maybe it is, but it used to be a test to see, what kind of ego you have, things like that. But then they're doing it, but then how do I explain Jim Ross after him being with the company for like 20,000 years and them still messing with the poor guy when he's in Oklahoma 20 years later? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that part.
On day one, Vince McMahon should just walk up to you, kick you in the nuts, and then see how you react. And that's it. And then you're in. Seriously.
I just all this kind of, we gotta toughen you up. I think that's some of that stuff just feels a little bit old school, right? I mean, you need to be tough to be in the business. I don't take any of that away, but it doesn't. I don't feel like this feels like almost high school shenanigans to prove you're worth it.
Here's where you need to be tough, whether you get sick or you get hurt, but you're not injured, but you're banged up, you're sore. Sure. You're not going to call. You can't call out of the office with it. Right. So to weed out the weak for that perspective is smart, but you don't have to do all these crazy, like you said, high school bully maneuvers, if you will, to get that job done. It doesn't even make sense when you think about it. Suppose somebody's a really good fighter, right? And he can throw hands for days, or she could throw hands for days and just beat people's butts, right, with their hands.
Yep.
Who's to say, though, that when they get a hangnail or whatnot, they don't want to, show up the next day? That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Just because they can fist fight really good.
Yeah, it's like, show me you can do 6 a.m. media and then an 8 p.m. match.
Miz, say what you want about him. Yeah. He's up at 3:30, 4 in the morning to make a lot of those calls that he's got to go in and do for PR purposes. That right there is a definition of tough.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, there's a difference in work ethic and just being a tough guy too, right? And I think that's where it's different here. Be a professional, and you got to have work ethic to be in this business. You got to be mentally tough and go through the grind, but you don't need to be. Yeah.
So I'm so sorry.
No,
I'm going to forget to say it. The other thing is when you get hurt in a match, will you finish it? That's another thing that they try to weed out of you too.
As Travorce in the chat saying, it's crazy the WWE doesn't like to put over the acts that are getting over organically. And here's the thing with Heavy Machinery. I thought Heavy Machinery was stupid since day one, but all the credit in the world to them that the crowd is chanting for them.
See, I don't know why I don't have a problem with them, but I do Viking War, whatever they are, Viking Raiders. Viking Warriors, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I respect what Heavy Machinery is doing, at least in the sense that they're getting by on charm, charisma.
Yeah. Charisma for days.
I think of the Viking Raiders. I just think there are some gimmicks that I mean, if you're above the age of like 9, I'm going to be fair and say 9 years old, just
really
look stupid.
And they look like, lame Halloween costumes.
Yeah, it's a parody. It's what's the difference? Why should I take the Viking Raiders any more seriously than I take Breezango wearing doctor scrubs or pilot uniforms?
Well, it's the problem the WWE has when they take a team like the War Raiders, who were not actually War Raiders. That was just the name of 2 really tough badasses who wrestled, and they try to turn them into a Halloween costume, and now they are like the real Vikings from Game of Thrones.
But don't you get it? We're giving them character. We're giving them,
gosh.
People can relate now that they have a thing on their head. They're more of a character now. No, they're more. You just made them into a joke. 2 killers you just made into a joke.
Yep.
But the Viking Raiders don't even cut promos where they talk about Valhalla. Like, they should be talking like Hawkman from Flash Gordon, like out there just cutting these really over the top big promos with character, if that's their gimmick. But instead they just put them out there in that gear, and it's silly.
But I think even then, I mean, the Ascension's the perfect example of this. Those guys dominated NXT they were NXT champions for a year. They brought them up and they did exactly that. They made them more gimmicky. They talked about being from the wasteland and all that stuff. And it just never worked, and it killed them. And they're not with the company anymore. They'll go find success in Ring of Honor because they're a great tag team.
Yeah. So Cesaro and Shinsuke won this match. Sami was great during this match. I think no one is having as good of a time in professional wrestling as Sami Zayn is having as a heel.
KO's heel run's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah.
He was enjoying himself. He's so funny.
No, he is fantastic. So, and they did this again. We had Ziggler and Corbin backstage with security. Oh, is Roman here? We know Roman's showing up at the end, man.
Lame.
Can we go back for half a minute here? And I just want to ask you guys, when I saw them win, and Zayn is doing great work, but I was really excited at the prospect of possibly seeing Shinsuke and Cesaro going up against the New Day in the near future. Like, I think they got this win because they're setting them up for big things. That could be a good feud, right? No.
They're gonna always feel like 2 singles acts to me. Being forced to tag team get together with one of them that should be, in my opinion, in the main event picture, and the other one not so much.
Sure.
And with Cesaro and Shinsuke both, they've had their issues where supposedly, Backstage doesn't like them doing promos. They don't like how they talk, how they come across. So with Sami with them, it does kind of underscore, and say again, Sami's great, but it's saying like, we do not believe in your ability to do anything but wrestle and look good.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I agree with they should be doing more. They should be singles wrestlers. But for what WWE has given them, and Sami Zayn going on the mic against the New Day, who are so like just him talking down to them for a couple of weeks, I just think that could be fun.
J, dude, I gotta remember your name. Every week he comments.
Every week, yes.
They need to do something bigger with the Intercontinental title. I forgot Shinsuke remember they gave him the black belt.
Yep.
A few weeks ago.
You can't see it under the lights. That's why.
Yeah, they redid the Intercontinental Championship, and I feel like it's forgotten already.
Yeah. Well, it's because they're doing this tag team thing, and they just don't give enough time for these second. Do you remember back in the day, like the Intercontinental Championship had a storyline? All of the major titles had a storyline, and tonight's show, great matches, but again, they're using these guys in just filler spots to bide time.
Well, I mean, and look at the TLC lineup. I mean, there's a lot of stuff not represented there. Just to quickly, we have Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin, the New Day versus the Revival for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship belts, Bray Wyatt versus The Miz, Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy, the Kabuki Warriors versus Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. We have Rusev versus Bobby Lashley, and we have the Viking Raiders defending their Raw Tag Team Championships against an opponent to be announced. So, look at all these belts that aren't there. No U.S. title match, no Intercontinental title match, no women's singles title match. We don't have either of the main belts. Because Bray versus The Miz.
Anyway. They don't even mean what they used to mean anyway. I was hopeful for the Intercontinental being on Nakamura meaning something, but no, it doesn't. None of these belts mean nothing.
Yeah.
They're a props team of the day.
Bailey's no offense to her. I love Bailey. I do. But she's killing that title.
Yeah.
And one of the most talented women's rosters we've ever seen.
Yeah. So we went to the main event tonight, which was Kofi Kingston versus Baron Corbin for the first time ever. I feel like
there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
There's a reason for it because I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
Nobody did. Kofi is not everybody's favorite babyface. He's good at drawing sympathy.
Yeah.
The way they've positioned him, who cares?
Well, and we didn't get a win, so who knows who would win in a one-on-one match because due to interference from Ziggler on the outside, we had this turn into a 2-on-2 match with the New Day, Big E and Kofi versus Corbin and Ziggler in a tag team match. And then we don't know who won that because there were foreign objects with the handcuffs, with Corbin trying to handcuff Kofi and pour dog food on him. There was a DQ, so the New Day won, but then the Revival came out and attacked. And it looks like they had the better of Kofi until Roman Reigns came out and then wrecked shop with Reigns standing tall as we went off the air.
Just another combination of two storylines, like they usually do. But, show, what'd you guys think of the show? What do you give it?
The Bray stuff was really good.
Between 1 and 10. What do you guys give it?
And the wrestling matches were good. They just don't add up to much beyond tonight's show. So I
want to score.
I'm gonna say like a 6.
6.5. Okay. Yeah.
You guys always make me do it first. Damn. I was gonna give it a 7.
The Bray stuff was really good. And let me tell you this. We're going to remember that Bray segment. We're going to be seeing that for years to come. I think this was a classic moment in modern WWE programming tonight.
Praise, man. That's cool. Wow.
But then again, man, go back and look at Pillman and Stone Cold. Go back and look at a lot of other classic moments. Watch the episodes they were on.
Yeah, they weren't great.
Don't remember anything else about those episodes.
Something tells me back and watch Pillman and Stone Cold. I'm going to see a bunch of stuff on that Raw that's awesome.
You're going to see a bunch of stuff that's terrible. Like there is a net gain of I feel like it's almost a net gain of 5, some 10s. And so I've been rewatching old Raws.
Yes, you don't like them? I think there's
dude. I love things about them, and then things about them make me cringe.
Oh, I went back and rewatched the first DX segment with the face-off with Brett. And Brett accusing Triple H of one of the H's standing for homosexual.
Yep.
And it was really bad.
It was bad.
The highlights on Monday Night Wars make it seem like it was all great. It was not all great.
The opposite. I think every segment, I'm like, God dang, I wish it was, like this, where you can just press play and everything on it I thought was good. Promos included. Every talent there was over.
That's true.
Top bottom, they all got monster reactions as the baby faces, and the heels got monster heat.
But do you think that it's the feeling of
Brown? What's D'Lo Brown? Feel free. You'll hear the pop. D'Lo just random.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the feeling. It's the feeling associated with it. I watch a lot of nostalgia-based stuff. And when I watch it, it's it makes me remember this, and I feel like it's 1987 all over again.
And there's a level of this is why it makes you feel better. But then, okay, I'll go back and watch Dallas Cowboys back when they were 1-15, and I hated my life as a little boy back then. It doesn't make me feel so good.
Really?
And
you were a happy, well-adjusted kid?
No. Not until Emmitt Smith, Irvin, and Aikman came.
Am I the only one? Cousin Oliver over here. Sorry. Am I the only one who? By the way, I looked up Cousin Oliver during this show, and that it looks nothing like me. This dude's got a little Bobby. Yeah. No. The glasses might be similar.
The shell shock haircut he's got.
No,
helmet hair.
Oh my gosh. No, I watch old commercials, right? I just watch old Cousin Oliver, you sons. Yeah, I watch old commercials. It does feel, and I enjoy watching them, but there was really good wrestling on this show, and you didn't always get that in the back in the 90s, right?
Let me give you another good example. Recently with Thanksgiving, every year we rewatch the WKRP episode with the turkey drop. And that episode is not great, except the end when they get to the punchline, the payoff. That's hilarious. But the 20 minutes that came before it is just kind of mediocre late 70s, early 80s sitcom.
WKRP. Okay.
In Cincinnati, it's a good show. You don't remember that?
But you know the episode, right? About the famous turkey drop episode. Yeah. The payoff is fantastic. I'll laugh for 5 minutes straight, but the build up to that, just so.
How old are you, Michael?
31.
Not old
30s.
enough.
In my 30s. How about that? Is that good enough?
Yes. So there you had it. That was SmackDown tonight. Watch The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. I'm telling you, Matt. Are you a Star Wars fan, Matt?
Yeah.
Did you go check out Rise of the Resistance yet at Disney World?
Yes, that is. Have you guys seen it?
I've been reading about it. So when we go to Tampa next year for WrestleMania, we're going to go and do Disney before Tampa.
It is crazy.
It looks awesome. It looks really fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm always jealous. So you live down there. You know Brian Fritz, other sports journalists, sporting news. He just moved to North Carolina a couple years ago, but he used to live there. He would talk about going to Disney all the time. He had a pass. He would just go whenever. And I was like, dude, you are living the life, man.
I'll be honest though, we don't do it much. Like I tell you, Morgan's don't do it much. But like, yeah, it's in your backyard. It's one of those deals. Like if you guys have something really, really cool that other people think is cool, like where you guys live. You live in freaking California, Glenn. There's tons of stuff out there.
Yeah, but I don't go to Alcatraz. I've been to Alcatraz like once.
Get season passes to Alcatraz every weekend.
Somewhere somebody thinks that's cool.
I guess. Disney, though, you know what it is? I mean, we plan our trips around them. When they have like Food and Wine Festival in the fall with the music and everything going on, like there's great times to go there. But, you know, that's the problem in Southern California, why Disneyland is such a cluster, is because people treat it like going to hang out at the mall. They just go hang out at Disneyland. That's why it's packed all the time, because the annual passes abuse it. But Disney World, they have more space. But yeah, seriously, dude, The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, highly recommend. Also, they have documentary series, The Imagineering Story, which is about how they built and came up with the ideas for all the rides.
Oh yeah,
it's really interesting.
I've been watching that toy show you told me to watch on Netflix.
The Toys That Made Us?
The best.
Oh my gosh, that show is so good, right? Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We do have one other bit of things to get to tonight.
I like the He-Man one, but ironically better than the wrestling one.
The He-Man one was really good.
Yes, He-Man was my first favorite toy.
I've not watched the new season yet with wrestling and the TMNT, but the first season, I mean, even the Barbie doll one I thought was super fascinating. The history of that doll was amazing.
Yes. It's an iconic doll. What do you want? Yeah.
So the other bit of news, and I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat room tonight, helping us moderate some real jerks out there in the troll land of YouTube. But of course, NXT AEW ratings for this week.
Yeah, what was it?
Drum roll, please. Wednesday Night Wars going on, and viewership was tied.
What?
Dynamite drew 778,000 viewers. NXT drew 778,000 viewers. So whichever one of you did not tune in to Wrestling Wednesday night, this is on you.
This is your fault.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, what is that? Can that really happen? There's not like a decimal point or something?
I mean, if you look at key demographics, AEW has an edge in 18 to 49, but that's it.
But
I think these numbers are rounded, Matt. I don't think like it's exactly. They're probably rounded to 1,000 would be my guess here.
Who won last
margin
week?
of error?
Michael, who won last week?
Last week, AEW won by like a hair.
A slight margin. It was 851 to 845. So big takeaway, ratings did go down this week, closer to Christmas. They're going to go down over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, NXT is right in there. But to Glenn's point, the actual demographic rating in AEW did come out ahead by just a hair. So,
okay, really quick. Why is that demographic better than let's say 60 to 90-year-olds, or what? Like, why that demographic?
Okay, so as someone that works in advertising, there was a thought that younger people, one, have more discretionary income. You don't have kids, you don't have a house, you got more money. Two, you're not brand loyal. Matt, even as now we are in our 43rd year, we have brands we are loyal to, brands that we buy. We cannot be swayed as easily, perhaps, as a younger person can about what toothpaste to start using or what laundry soap.
Easier than to draw them to your show because they are so frivolous and they will go back.
Well, but it's the idea, though, that you can get those habits, you can get those buyers with more discretionary power, less brand loyalty. So this is your chance to win better consumers. That being said, 18 to 49 is actually not the best demographic for all advertisers. If you look at little watched TV shows that you might say every year, like How Did the Americans Keep Getting Renewed or Better Call Saul, shows that are great shows, but they're watched by people who make a lot of money and are more likely to buy luxury cars and luxury automobiles. So certain brands like Mercedes will pay a premium to advertise to those audiences. But by and large, 18 to 49 is considered a very desirable demographic to market to.
I hear that. I just always wondered why.
Yeah. And 25 to 34 has always been considered kind of like one of the keys, because at that point, again, to Glenn's point, they're dumb enough to spend their money on whatever, but they have been employed enough to actually have money to buy things with. They're not, resistant as people who get older and stuff. So,
because 18 to 49 is very big. That's a huge chunk.
Yeah.
When you say 25 to 34 or whatever you said, that's
yeah. Very tiny. Yeah, that's the tiny sliver, but that was kind of like one of the key. Or that's why you watch Price is Right every day at 11 o'clock, and you see denture advertisements over and over and over. They own that over 50 demographic there.
Polydent or whatever.
Polydent. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
But that being said, I think we talked about this once before. If you and this happens with WWE on Raw a lot, not with AEW on TNT, and not with Fox. Fox is getting like premium advertisers, like good advertisers. But when you're watching commercials for prepaid cell phones where you have no credit, where they think you're like dropping your pizza is your biggest problem in life, like telling you not to smoke, you're not in a desirable consumer group when you look at those are the type of things you're being marketed.
This is fascinating. Wow, I didn't know all this. That really is fascinating.
Yeah, so Fox even getting like Progressive Insurance. I mean, there's some stuff that they're doing where it's like, okay, these are bigger advertisers, bigger names, better spends. It's interesting, man. It's interesting just to look at how you're viewed based on what is being advertised to you. And you know what? You know that you're an old person if you're watching TV where they're trying to sell you on reverse mortgages and like
the general insurance, right?
I mean, Matt, no offense to your beloved Fox News, but when I'm seeing ads for catheter refills, I'm wondering what kind of demographic do they think I'm in? That this is my number one.
You're watching like at 2 a.m. That doesn't count. That's not.
But yeah, so you could tell how you are viewed by what the ads are.
Popping up Hannity.
What does Blue Chew say? Like, what does that put us at here on
Blue Chew? Well, I run Blue Chew's podcast ads, and we run on a lot of sports. We run on wrestling. We run on comedy. We run on music. We do a wide variety of programming, but we're trying to reach men, right? We want to reach men, and we want to reach men that are a little older. We don't want to reach people that are old. We want to reach people that, as I described, people that once were in their prime and are now starting to sunset into middle age and can just use that little boost.
I could have sworn I was 21 years old or 26 maybe is when technically you're going to need it.
Yeah, no, it starts going downhill, man. But I rep a lot of different advertisers. We have some brands that want to reach just women, some brands that want to reach just moms. We have some stuff where it's all about self-improvement based audiences. So every advertiser has a different mindset. And with wrestling, look at it now. WWE has a podcast network. Look who's advertising on there. You could tell like these are the brands they're trying to court and what they're trying to do with it.
So what does that say for WWE Raw? Because the USA Network commercials are terrible.
I don't think USA tries to sell them very hard. I know that Fox made a real push to get Fox advertisers in. USA isn't they do well, but they're kind of past their primes, as a cable network, because Suits is off the air. Their big shows are done for the most part. Like, what does USA have that's bringing in the A-level advertisers? They're kind of like the B level of the NBC Universal family.
But that's where I get confused, because a high rating is a high rating, and all things considered, Monday Night Raw is a very big number versus other shows, right?
Mm-hmm. It's very different nowadays too, though, because you go back 20 years, there was so fewer TV shows on, but also they didn't have the ways to access specific advertising groups that they do now. Yeah. I mean, you go on Facebook now, I can target people who are 42 years old in my city to advertise blah towards them. And advertisers didn't used to have those tools. So you used to have to say wider ranges because we're kind of guessing at what some of these viewers might be like based off of Nielsen and sample size. So I think it's changing now too, where you're finding ways where every viewer can be valuable if you send them the right advertisement.
Yeah. And if you're watching on DirecTV now and you see those terrible slideshows saying, we'll be right back, that's local inventory that they couldn't sell on a national level.
Yeah.
So when you see those like Unstoppable with Dan Patrick ads with the music loop going on in the background, on DirecTV now I see those all the time. Anyhow, that's This Week in Advertising as it affects professional wrestling. Sunday night, we're going to be here to talk about TLC 2019.
Yep.
7 matches announced. It'll be myself, Matt Morgan, and I think Raj, maybe. Tune in.
I think it's either him or Justin, maybe. I don't remember.
We'll see.
My invite's coming in the mail. Don't worry. It'll be there.
Hey, go watch those Cousin Oliver episodes. Cousin Oliver was in the last episode with the rabbits and the hair dye.
You guys. Oh.
Cousin Oliver.
Cousin Oliver.
And you know, they thought they were coming back for another season. That's why the final episode of the Brady Bunch wasn't a final episode.
Kiss of death.
Cousin Oliver.
Yeah.
What does it say about this podcast then, huh?
We're done after this meeting.
My bad.
I'm gonna go listen to It's a Sunshine Day and keep on moving. Okay, folks. He's at The Real Wiseman. He's at BP Matt Morgan. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein on Twitter. I'll be live tweeting along with TLC on Sunday if you want to give me a follow, and we will catch you back here then for the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.